Hello, hello, hello. My hair is totally wackadoodle right now, you guys. I mean, I have so many Darlenes, Jolenes, Joes all over my hair. I did my hair earlier this evening, and this is what it looks like now, so we're just gonna have to just deal with it tonight. It is currently 6:02 a.m. I fell asleep with Alex tonight, and it's been a long day. So, well, yesterday was a long day, which is today's vlog. So, there. And I'm leaving the gas station where I just put air into my tire for, I think that's the 5th time now that I put air in my tire in 2 days. Apparently I have a nail or something in my tire. I cannot see it. So I have looked at my tire up and down, and I was talking to my sponsor, and my sponsor said that it could be something to do with my rim. So I'm gonna have to take it in today and see if I can, well, probably not get it patched up, see if I can get a new tire. Why is this person flying up on me? Like, come to the other lane, dude, seriously. Oh, because they're turning them. Anyway, that would make sense. So yeah, my hair doesn't look too bad. I woke up out of a really, really strange dream, too. I, like, slept so deep. We went to Maggiano's tonight, which is like a chain restaurant. You guys probably, if you live in anywhere near well, maybe not even a big city, you probably have a Maggiano's. I love it. It's not Alex's favorite place. I don't know why, really, I love it. I just think the pasta is fantastic, and it's kind of low lit and stuff, so I just like it. We don't go there very often. But I had kind of a hell day today. I'm gonna say today so that you guys understand, like, when you're listening to this, even though it is 6:04 a.m. of the next day, but that way it'll make sense, because you guys, I know you get confused. So this is actually Wednesday's vlog, if that makes sense to you, okay? Even though it's 6:04 a.m. on Thursday. So, you guys have heard me talk about how I don't take my contacts out very long, or very often. This is the fountain coke that I got with Tanya. Many moons ago, at like 10 o'clock, 10:30, I think it was something like that. And I was home by 10:30, so it couldn't have been that late. Anyway, I came home last night from vlogging, and my right contact was like really hurting my eye. My right eye was really hurting, and I just assumed it was for my contacts. And it didn't feel like there was something in there. I've had stuff in my contacts before. I've had tears in my contacts. I've had rips in my contacts. I've had, you know, little things in my eye before when I'm wearing my contacts. I mean, I've worn contacts since I was like 16 years old. So I've had every problem that you can possibly imagine with your contacts. I kind of know, like, you know, the feelings of things now, especially like a little itty bitty tear. If you wear contacts, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can literally have a tear in your contact, which is the size of the end of a pencil, and it can feel, I mean, it literally can feel like your whole eye is coming out. It hurts so bad. So I took my contacts out, and there was nothing wrong with my contacts. I couldn't really figure out what was going on with my eye, but my eye really, really hurt last night, like when I was going to bed. So I didn't really think much of it. I thought, okay, my eyes just need to be rested. And the weird thing is that the other night I had worn my contacts straight for like 10 days. I had slept in them for like 10 days. And, which, I mean, I knew was not good for my contacts. Back in the day, I, like, was relentless. Like, I never, ever slept in my contacts. Like, I took my contacts out every single day. And, I think that what's just happened recently is with vlogging later, and then coming home and being like, well, I've got to get up tomorrow and do this, or I've got to get up tomorrow and do that. I know this sounds totally lazy, which it probably is, but I was like, I don't have to put my contacts in tomorrow because they'll already be in my eyes. So I just like re-wet them before I go to bed, and then I usually wake up and they're completely fine. Like, I haven't had any problems with it, right? And then I just replace them like every 2 to 3 weeks. But I've been wearing my contacts like longer than 2 to 3 weeks. I've been really pushing it. So I woke up this morning and I like couldn't even open my eyes. I don't even know how to explain the pain that I was in. And it was just this eye. It was just my right eye. But I was like, oh my God, did I not grab my phone? There it is. But I was in so much pain. And every time that I would kind of like slightly open my eyes, like if I could get my eye open at all, just like floods of tears would come out of it. It was really weird. It was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. I didn't even know that my eye, in all honesty, I didn't even know that my eye was able to produce that much tear, if that makes sense. It just was like, it would just run down the side of my face. And I was like, this is so weird. What is going on? And so I went in the bathroom and I looked at my eye. My eye was completely red. And I thought, oh my God, did I get pink eye or something? And I'm like, well, I don't really know how I would have got pink eye. And I knew that pink eye itches and my eye didn't itch. It just hurt. So I was like, well, God, I wonder if like I got pink eye somehow or whatever. But the other symptoms with pink eye I didn't really have. And I was like, well, how the hell would I have gotten pink eye, you know? So I would say that I'm like up for the day, but I'm not. I'm going back to bed. I'm tired. So I texted Alex and I was like, something's wrong with my eye. And one of our really good friends that we just went to brunch with, she's an eye doctor. She's not our eye doctor, but she's an eye doctor. And so Alex was like, text her. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna wait and see if it goes away. And he was like, okay. He was like, but this is what you always do. You always, you know, like, wait. And I was like, yeah, he's right. So, but I really thought maybe it was just from wearing my contacts so long. I honestly thought like, okay, if I go back to sleep for a little bit and I wake up, then my eye won't hurt so bad. Because I hadn't, at that point, been to sleep for that long. I mean, I had been to sleep for a while, but not like, it wasn't like 10 o'clock in the morning, and you know what I mean? Like, it was early in the morning. Like, Alex had just like left. So, I had just been to sleep for like a couple hours. So, I woke up again to take the dogs out, and it hurt more than it hurt the time before. And I think that was when I really knew something was going on. And I was like dizzy. And I could not see out of my eye. And I mean, I couldn't not to even find my glasses. So I finally found my glasses and I'm like covering my eye so I can take the dogs outside. And I came back upstairs and I laid in bed and I was like, I'm gonna call my friend in just a second. And it was really making me tired too, which was really strange. And so I laid down and I was like kind of like talking to the dogs and I was like in so much pain and I fell asleep again and I woke up and that time that I woke up was probably like 10, something like that, 11, I don't know when it was, but I woke up the second time or whatever. The first time was like early in the morning, then it was like 10 or 11 and then I fell back asleep and when I woke up, it was like 2 o'clock. And like immediately, like my eye was into the pillow and like immediately it was just throbbing. And so like I sat up and it was just like tears. And and then I kind of like started kind of panicking a little bit. I was like, what is going on? And then I'm like, it's too late to get into the eye doctor today. And then I was like, which I should have called like, you know, hours before that, which was stupid. But I've like through the years talked to other kids of doctors and many of us, it's very similar, that we just kind of minimize stuff, or we wait till the last minute and think it's going to be something else, which is totally what I did. So Alex had texted me, or he had called me, I think. So I called him back, and we were talking, and he was like, I'm really worried, like, you know, he said, you know, you need to call our friend again, and I said, okay, I will. And so, she was like in office hours and stuff, and I was like, hey, can you, because I knew like her schedule a little bit, because we had just talked about it, and I was like, can you call me when you get a chance? And then like I fell asleep again. I don't even know how to explain it. My eye like was so tired, and so like I would literally like put my head on the pillow and I would just be out. And at that point I was like, I had all these videos I wanted to do. I had all these errands I needed to run today. I had like a bunch of stuff I had to do today. One of which was I wanted to take this tire in. The other one was I need to get my oil changed in my car. And then, and then I had a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to do. And I just was like, I cannot do anything. Like, I looked a mess. My eye was completely red. And I just looked when I got back in my car from putting air in the tire. It's still pretty red, but it's not as bad as it was earlier. And I can, like, drive now. The thing was, I couldn't even, like, see out of it. I was like this. I was like, and then it would just be, like, running tears the whole time. So I fell asleep again, and I woke up, and it was like 5 o'clock. It was like, oh, I don't know, maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, sometime in there. And my friend had called, and I had not even heard the phone ring. So I called her and explained to her what was going on, and I was like, I don't know, is it like pink eye and stuff like that? And she said, she was asking me like a lot of questions about mine. She's like, what do you wear? And I was like, I wear like, you know, AccuView, Oasis. And she was like, dailies or weeklies? And I was like, yeah, the bi-weekly ones. And she was like, okay. She was like, honestly, you could probably wear those 10 days. And, you know, your eyes shouldn't be too damaged from it as a result of it. She's like, that's not recommended. She's like, but you could do that, you know, hypothetically. She's like, it's not good for your eye, Peter, though. You need to be taking your contacts out every night. And I said, I know, blah, 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 whatever. And I said, I don't know, like, what's wrong with my eye? And she's like, well, you need to go get your eye checked out. And she was like, you need to go. And, you know, she was like, you need to make an appointment with your eye doctor. And I was like, I know I do, but it's now like 5 o'clock. What do you think? And she's like, well, first of all, you need to throw your contacts out. You need to throw your contact solution out, your contact case. She was like, because it sounds like a bacterial infection to me. She said, I kind of think maybe you might have a bacterial ulcer in your eye. And she was explaining to me what that was. And she's like, but I can't, you know, obviously diagnose it without seeing it. And so she was like, so our friend does a lot of like non-for-profit stuff. And without getting into anything deeper than that, that would be like why I wouldn't see her as a patient. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. But anyway, I mean, she doesn't have like a typical practice, and that's why I don't. So she was like, you know, I can't diagnose you. She was like, but you're talking about your eyes, and this is serious, and you need to go. And I have a history of cataracts in my family too. I have like some serious issues on both sides of my family with eye problems. So she was like, and she knew that because we had talked about eye stuff before. She's like, you know, with the history of your eyes and whatever in your family, your medical history, she's like, you need to go get this checked out by your eye doctor. She's like, this is like no joke. And she said it could be something else, and I can't remember what she said it could be. But I said, oh, Alex, because Alex had said to me, if it's pink eye, like, you need to find out because it's highly contagious. And I said, yes, Alex, I know that, you know. He's like, no, babe, but I'm just, like, worried, you know, like, I don't want to get pink eye, too, and then we both can't work and whatever. And I said, okay, and I knew it wasn't pink eye. And so she started laughing on the phone, and she was, like, asking these different questions. She's like, yeah, it's not pink eye. You can tell Alex that you're totally fine to kiss. And so, anyway, so she said to me, she was like, you know, you need to wear your glasses. Don't even attempt to put contacts in your eyes. She was like, until you talk to your eye doctor. She was like, don't even attempt to put contacts in your eyes. And I was like, okay. So that was that. She was very sweet. So I've been wearing my glasses, and then my stomach just started kicking. So then I was like, had been stuck at home, you know, sleeping in bed all day long. The little dogs were so sweet, Boo and Tucker. They were so curled close next to me. I think they knew, like, that, like, I wasn't feeling very well. Because they were, like, really, really close to me the whole time. It was so sweet. Where am I at on time? And I'm not going to vlog for a long time tonight, you guys. Obviously, it's been kind of a day. And so I think it was about that point. Like, Alex texted me, and we had plans for Sarah to come over tonight. And I had said to her when we went over to her house last weekend, I said, hey, you know, we have all this Christmas stuff in our basement, stuff for Alex and I, stuff from, like, my mom's back in the day, that was hers back in the day. I said things of me and my exes, Christmas stuff that, like, I don't want anymore. So, like, do you want to, because she's, like, really wanting to decorate her house big for Christmas next year. I was like, do you want to come over and look at some of it? And then if there's some stuff that you want in there, I said, you know, you can just have it, take it out of there. So she was like, yeah, well, I had not really, like, explained to Alex that maybe I wasn't in the greatest of the moods tonight. And so, like, they kind of still made plans to do that. And by then I started feeling a little bit better. By then I was like, okay, I want to do something. Like, I cannot just, like, continue to sit in this house, you know, like, all night long in bed. Like, I just knew I couldn't do that. And so I had said to Alex last night, I had said, well, like, why don't we go out to dinner and then Sarah can come over and look at the Christmas stuff? Because, of course, I was feeling great, you know, the night before. And he was like, yeah, that sounds like fun, blah, blah, blah. So he was texting me, and he was like, are you still wanting to do, you know, like, dinner stuff, or would you like Sarah and I to go to dinner, and then, you know, she can come over and look at the Christmas stuff? And I was like, no, I want to get out of this house. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm totally sure. Like, I want to get out of this house. I'm tired of sitting in here today. And he was like, well, does your eye feel okay? And I was like, yeah. And so anyway, like, I couldn't even text earlier in the day. I couldn't even see the text. So I said, I just want to take a shower. I think if I take a shower, it'll make me feel better. And so he came home. We had made plans to go to dinner with her at like 7:30, I think. And so he came home, and I was like laying in bed, and he came and he like looked at my eye, and he laid down next to me, and he was so sweet. He was like, I'm so sorry you're having a bad day, honey. And I'm like, it's just really, it's been draining. And it was like, and I don't know what it was about my eye my eye hurting that made me so tired, but it just like, whole body, it just like drained, you know. And so we just laid there in bed together for a little while, and then I took a shower, and we went to Maggiano's. And by then I could wear glasses, and my eye was like it is now. It's like my eye doesn't really hurt now at all. It's a little tired, I would say, but it doesn't hurt. And oh, it was super light sensitive too. That was the thing. Like, I went to go put up my vlog from yesterday, and I could hardly look at the computer, and I had it like all the way dimmed down, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't even look at my computer. It was the weirdest thing. Which is why I just was like, I would look outside for like when I took the dogs outside, and it was like really hard to look at the light. So anyway, so we went to Maggiano's, which that totally lifted my spirits. Just, we had such a great dinner, and it was so funny because we were there, and we were sitting at this like table to the far like left. We were like in this little section that was kind of like, there was nobody else with us. And I had a salad and fettuccine, and Alex had lasagna. Okay, so the great thing about Maggiano's is they have this thing called Today and Tomorrow. So you can order one, and then you get another meal to take home for dinner tomorrow. So, like, I ate one and got one to take home. Isn't that cool? And then they have, like, a list of, like, 10 different meals that you can, like, order off of and then take one home for the next day. And so, like, Alex has an entire lasagna that he's going to take up to work today. So, I think I love it because of that. What was I going to say? Oh, but Alex goes, babe, he was like, look, and he like pointed, and it was Melissa and Jason and Jason's parents. They were, like visiting for a couple nights or something, and so we like went over and we said hi to Melissa and Jason, and it was so funny. I'm like, quit following us, and Melissa's like, why are you wearing your glasses? You never have your glasses on. So I had to tell them the whole story, you know, and everything. Oh my god, my stomach is kind of kicking me. I don't know if it was from dinner or whatever, but it's like really hurting all of a sudden. Oh, Peter's falling apart. I'm falling apart. Is this what getting older is about? Aches and pains and all of that. It's too much. It is too much. It's my own fault. And then I tweeted something out about it, and people were so nice. I mean, if anything, I've learned my lesson, you know, about contacts. I will say this, it's been kind of nice to just wear my glasses today, you know, and like, just like take them off when, like I was like, you know, late going back to bed. I just like take them off and put them to the side, you know, or whatever. It was nice. I kind of forgot. I just hate these glasses so much. I just think they're so ugly. These are actually Ray-Ban sunglasses that I had. Like, I got them at Costco eyewear, actually, like 10 years ago. Alex and I went together and got glasses, and we both got Ray-Ban sunglasses, but instead of having sunglass lens put in them, we just had, what do you call it? We had eyeglass lenses in them instead. And those are the ones that Alex always wears. Those are the glasses that he's worn for years and years and years and years. Those, Ray-Bans, everybody asks what they are. Although he got a new pair because he did this like sponsorship for Instagram with this glass pair, and it's really this cool concept. And it's like, so if you don't have your prescription right in front of you, I can't remember what it's called, but like it'll have you like do this test online, and then it like you have to have your prescription to order them, but it'll kind of like to get things started or something. I don't know, but anyway. Ordered these glasses, these frames, these like metal frames, and I love them. They look so handsome on him. Might order some of those because I'm tired of these, and they're not too expensive either. Just tired of these glasses. I think they're so ugly. They don't sit on my face right. But it is what it is. At least, I mean, I have like 3 pairs sitting around the house too, because a couple years ago, I just wanted glasses sitting around the house, so like if I just need to pick up my glasses. Well, I rarely wear my glasses because I wear my contacts from sun up to sundown, you know, like, I mean, if I go to bed, I take my contacts out typically, or lately, I don't, you know what I mean? And so I literally have my contacts in 24 hours a day. I'm like my mom. Like when I was growing up, my mom was the same way. That, you know, like she would get up and the first thing she would do in the morning is put her contacts in, and the last thing she would do before she went to bed is take her contacts out. Although I do kind of, she would always say that that's how she was, but like, now that I look back, I kind of remember her, I remember her wearing glasses, like watching a movie or something like that. So I don't know, I was gonna stop, hold on. Okay, I'm back. I do look kind of like a hot mess, don't I? I'm thinking about getting something for breakfast because I'm hungry. I'm going back to bed. But yeah, so I'm in my contacts like all the time, right? So there's not really a reason for me to have glasses. And really the only reason I ever do have my glasses around me is when we go on vacation. Because I'm like, if something happens like to my eyes, or if something happens to my contacts, at least I have my glasses, right? So I always take them on vacation with me, and then I never wear them. Every trip that we take, I take my glasses, and I don't think I ever wear them. I don't think I ever bring them out of the case or the bag that I have them in, you know? I always keep them in my backpack. But I don't want to mess with my eyes. I've got to, you know, take good care of my eyes, because I mean, it was kind of scary at one point today. Like, when I first got up, like the first time, like when I called, was that when I called Alex? It was early. And it was like the first time, and I didn't know like what was going on. And like I was trying to open my eyes, and it was just like my tear ducts, just like, and it was just one side of my eye, so it felt so weird too, because it was like the other eye wasn't like tearing up, it was just this eye, and it was just like flood of tears coming out, and it felt so completely weird, that I was like, what is going on? You know, like I had no clue, and yeah, so. Like, it just felt weird. It just felt really, really weird. That neighborhood is like Persimmon something, Ridge or something, and I always think that sounds like such a sweet place to live, Persimmon Ridge. I don't know why. But, yeah, so now today, I have to get up and try to get this tire fixed. If not today, tomorrow. I might try to make an appointment for the tire. If I get up, the thing is like, my tire is like dropping air fast, which is so weird because I filled it up and it's like been the same ever since like I got in the car and I started driving tonight, and it was doing that earlier, but when it sits in one space, it loses air like that. So I need to get it fixed or I'm going to have a completely flat tire. So I need to do that, which I hope I can get it fixed before that happens. You know, I could just go right now, actually. But then I'll be there till 9 or 10. But I need to get my tire fixed. And then I need to see if I can get an eye appointment today with my eye doctor. And that'll have, you know, be completely up to whenever I can get in to see her. And, or maybe like one of her partners if she doesn't have something open. And then, I think that's it. Went to the casino with Valerie. I didn't win any money. That was the night before. That was after I vlogged in today, but we had a good time. We had a good time. I actually didn't stay out that late. I was listening to my audiobook on the way home. What was I doing on my way home? I feel like I was listening to my audiobook or a podcast. What was I listening to? No, I can't remember. Alex and Sarah watched it. So, okay, we went to Maggiano's tonight, and then we came home, and I was shopping on Audible while so I brought all of the Christmas stuff up that I didn't want anymore, and so she was going through these buckets with Alex, like they were going through stuff, and he was like sending pictures to Liliana to see what she wanted, because like I have like, you know, I have like my family, like I have my stocking from when I was a little kid that I want to keep, and then I have like a box of ornaments that were like things that my mom and I used every year, because you know, we would get new, like 1 or 2 new special ornaments every year. So like our entire tree was all different ornaments, and I have all those ornaments and I'm saving all of those. But then, like the rest of the stuff is like red bulbs and silver bulbs and stuff like that, that like Alex and I used on our tree. Alex and I, a couple years ago, we did it, so we started collecting bird ornaments, because we thought, like, you know, when we moved to Florida, then we could have this whole like exotic bird tree, but they look very different, and there's like partridges in there, and there's like, you know, cardinals, and then there's like magical looking birds with long feathers. It's all birds. It's all different kinds of birds, but all different kinds of birds. And so I think it was over like 3 or 4 years we started doing it when we first got together. And so we haven't put up a big tree, so he found the ornaments down there, and he was like, Sarah was like, ooh, I like all those, and he's like, no, we're not giving those away, which was really cute, because he always tries to act like he doesn't care about that stuff, but obviously he does. So he's like, no, we're not giving those away. And so he was like rewrapping them and making them really like, it was very sweet, and he was rewrapping them, being really careful with them. So he was like, she was like, now next year you're going to want to put up a Christmas tree. And he was like, no, it's too much trouble. And I said, next year we're going to put up a Christmas tree and we're going to use those bird ornaments. And we're going to get some new bird ornaments. So anyway, and then I found all the ornaments that my mom and I had when I was growing up. And like ornaments my Aunt Kathy had given me and stuff, like really special ones. I have like this Christmas Carol one year put out like all these, like they had put these special Christmas Carol, you can get them like at Hallmark or something, I don't know, Christmas Carol ornaments. And my aunt would always like write in like Sharpie marker on the bottom of the ornament the year, you know? And it was an ice truck, like an old-fashioned ice truck from like, you know, the 1800s or something, and it had like, you could see like the actual ice in the truck. She always gave me these really cool ornaments. So I should go through and show all those, shouldn't I, in like a vlog, all the ornaments I grew up with as a kid. Would you guys like that? I have something a little different to do on here. I don't know why I'm putting on lip gloss like I'm going somewhere. Look at me. With my darling Jolene Jo hair. She's dancing over here. It's her last dance, like Donna Summer said. Anyway, last dance for love. I don't know, whenever I think about roller skating as a kid, I always think of Donna Summer, but my friend Jesse and I, we used to always put the speakers in my mom's library. We would put the speakers into the windows, and we would open the windows, and then we would, the music would be blasting under the cul-de-sac, and we would be roller skating into Donna Summer, Bad Girls album, and then I think her greatest hits, and it was just like this black album in gold lettering, and I think it said like Donna Summer greatest hits or something underneath it, but Last Dance was on that one. I loved Donna Summer when I was a kid. She kind of changed her musical taste a couple times, didn't she, before she passed away? Like, she did a country album, and then she got really into gospel music, I think, at one point, and she disowned all the gays that gave her any kind of career whatsoever. Isn't that always the way, though? Somebody else did that, too. I can't remember who it was. Oh, Pebbles. Pebbles, that the only song she ever had that went famous was because of the gays. They used to play it in the gays. Because they used to play it in the gay clubs all the time. That Pebbles song. And then she became friends. I mean, I don't care. I love gospel music. Little unknown fact, y'all. I've talked about this on here before, that I have tons of gospel music downloaded on my phone. But then she became really, really good friends with Whitney Houston, of course, which she was already. But Whitney Houston, I mean, she couldn't be down with the gays. You know, she couldn't be against the gays. Well, how could she? It would have ruined her career, number one. Number two, allegedly. Did you guys hear about all this? Allegedly. Like, did you watch that Whitney documentary and stuff? That apparently Whitney Houston was a lesbian, and she had a girlfriend and all that kind of stuff, and then she ended up being with... They talk about it like real, like they talk about it in that documentary. Whitney is so good, but then her ex, that girl, I can't think of her name now, she traveled with her for years. She put a book out, like a tell-all book. I don't know why anybody's surprised about that. Whitney Houston wrote her own rules. I loved Whitney Houston. You can't tell me one thing I would... I mean, I think, you know, Whitney Houston makes me sad, because Whitney Houston is oh my god, look at that donut shape. It's called the bakery. Whitney Houston was the result of long-term drug use and an active addiction in its worst case, you know, and you would see her, and it just was so sad. I actually had a friend of mine, okay, I had to stop the camera because I was telling a story about a friend of mine that indirectly knew Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, and I was like, yeah, that's one of those stories I probably should leave off of here. So anyway, that was that little edit for you. But makes me so sad. Makes me so sad about Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Well, I mean, Bobby Brown, he's fine. But it makes me sad about Whitney Houston. And then Bobby Christina. It's like the whole situation with what's her face, like Anna Nicole Smith and her son Daniel, like I was talking about the other day. That whole thing makes me so sad. Anna Nicole. I think she was another person that was a product of our society. I think she was taken advantage of by a lot of people. I remember when those Guess ads came out with her in it, and I mean, I literally remember like flipping through a magazine and seeing him like at the very front of the magazine and just being like, oh my God, who is this? And then she was on like Johnny Carson or Jay Leno or whatever it was at that time, and I just was blown away. And I mean, I fell in love with her instantly. And I just loved the whole storyline of her life. I thought was just so cool. And, you know, she had kind of like risen up out of all of this. And I think from the very beginning, she was always really honest about having been, you know, like a dancer and, you know, like raising her kid on her own and all this kind of stuff. And she really didn't. And I so appreciate that. Like when somebody doesn't look down on their own history and they just own their own story, you know, it's like there's nothing to be embarrassed of anyway. You did the best that you could to get by, you know. And I don't know, there just was something like past all, there was just an innocence about her, or there was just something about her, you know. This is weird too with her, because she was somebody that, like, I literally, from the time that she got famous till the time that she passed away, like, I followed everything to do with her career. I mean, everything. And she is somebody that, I think her father, first of all, is very, very smart to keep her to keep Danny Lynn, her daughter, out of the spotlight. I think it really shows who he is as a father, that there's only been, like, I remember one of the only pictures I've ever seen of her, I'm sure there's probably more now because I don't really keep up with it anymore, but one of the only pictures I've ever seen is when they were at the Kentucky Derby, because I think he's from Louisville, Kentucky. And, but does anybody know what happened with Marshall's money that she was supposedly supposed to get? And, like, does Danny Lynn get that? Or is there, like, I don't even know if Anna Nicole was worth anything when she passed away. I don't remember that. I just remember that whole situation with Harold, not Harold, what was his name? Harold. Why can't I think of what his name was now? Oh, Peter, come on. My God, you watched everything, knew everything about this person, and now you can't think of his name. Why, I can totally see him in my head. What is his name? Didn't they get married at the end or something too? It was like real weird. He was the one that I think that was like totally manipulating her. And look at that pancake place is open and it's like not one person is in there. But the gym is packed. That's where I need to be. I gotta look this up because this is driving me crazy. I know you guys are shouting in at the screen, I'm sorry. What did it just say? Oh, Guess jeans. I was like... Howard. Larry Burkhead was Danny Lynn's dad. What is this video? why we're worried about Anna Nicole Smith's daughter. So she celebrated her 11th birthday in 2017, which means she was 13. It's hard to believe that, but this is from that Nicki Swift. I used to watch them all the time. Okay, this is like a YouTube channel, and they report on like pop culture events and things like that. It's like you go there and it'll be like the truth about Todd Chrisley, and there's like no truth to it whatsoever, but it's one of those channels. It's hard to believe, but Danny Lynn Burkhead, daughter of iconic 90s model and reality TV darling Anna Nicole Smith, celebrated her 11th birthday in 2017. Her mother died suddenly of a drug overdose in 2007, leaving behind a baby that was just a few months old, and at the center of a tense legal battle between two men who claimed to be her father, photographer Larry Burkhead and Smith's lawyer Howard Stern. A paternity test proved Burkhead was Danny Lynn's biological father, and after he secured custody, he returned to his Kentucky home to raise his daughter. But even away from the Hollywood spotlight, this little girl's life is fraught with some scary elements, which make it hard not to worry about Danny Lynn's future. Are they talking about her being a model or something in here? The dark web, and I'm like looking through here. I'm not seeing any pictures of. Oh, they're showing interviews on ETV of Larry Burkhead. I don't know, have to watch that later. Yeah, I don't know about all that. What happened? I know that these moments when I'm like Googling stuff is your favorite. Do you see Darlene Joe right there? What happened to Anna? Oh wait, let's just look up this. How much? Do you guys ever do this, or is it just me? How much is Anna? She had a net worth of $5 million. What? Judge in decades-old Anna Nicole Smith case announces he's had enough. There was a time when you couldn't click on the news about here. And then, okay. Marshall, that's what I want to know. This month, a Texas judge, Judge Mike D. Wood, who has had the case in his docket for nearly 2 decades, finally has had enough. He wants out. Anna Nicole didn't start out in the spotlight. Born Vicki Lynn Hogan, she was a high school dropout who had dreams of becoming a household name. Her big break didn't come when was named Playmate of the Month 1992, or when she landed a Guess Jeans contact 1993. But when she was, that would have been like before I got sober, even. So that was like the year or two before I got sober. But when she was stripping at a Houston nightclub there, Anna Nicole met billionaire J. Howard Marshall in 1994. After pursuing Anna Nicole, the 89-year-old oil tycoon married the 26-year-old model. But Anna Nicole didn't get her happily ever after. He died a year later without ever including Anna Nicole in his will. In 2006, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled for Anna Nicole. The case was Marshall's. While the justices didn't hand her a piece of the estate, they did allow her to continue to argue in court that she was entitled to the money, and continue to argue she did. In 2006, she would have been dead, though, right? So who's fighting on her behalf? But a month after the Supreme Court decision, Pierce died. 6 months later, Anna Nicole died. Her death was ruled a drug overdose. But the court cases didn't stop there. Pierce's widow, Elaine Marshall, continued the legal fight over that was his son, Marshall fortune on his behalf, while Howard Stern, no, not that Howard Stern, Anna Nicole's executor, continued to fight the fight on, I bet he did, for the money. In 2011, the Supreme Court ruled against the estate, You can download a PDF file, finding that although bankruptcy court had the statutory authority to enter judgment on Vicky's counterclaim, it lacked the constitutional authority to do so. Oh my God, this is forever. It still didn't put an end to the matter. In 2011, Anna Nicole's estate filed a motion in the U.S. District Court to bring sanctions against Pierce's estate. More than 2 decades after the elder Marshall passed away, his heirs are still fighting over his billions, including recent trips to court to sort out years-old federal estate and gift tax issues. This month, the lawyers quarreled over temporary restraining order involving trusts that were created. The judge said, Judge Wood, I am, he told those in the court, going off the handle officially. I am tired of this case. I've told you that from the beginning. I beg you to rescue me. I beg you to recuse me. I beg you to recuse me. I don't want to deal with you people anymore. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Judge Wool went, oh, you cannot write this shit yourself, went on to say, I am not going to spend a lot of time cutting at nits and gnats for people that are fighting over 20 billion, 10 billion they didn't earn. They didn't create this wealth. It was created by a third party and they're just fighting over it. They can't agree on anything. They can pay lots of lawyers. They can pay lawyers until hell freezes over, but they don't want to agree to anything. They just want to pay lawyers. Judge Wood, it says up here Judge Wool. I guess not. Judge Wood disputed that the parties actually wanted the case to end, advising them, you're going to have to figure out something to do because I just can't. I'm not going to deal with you anymore. I've had it. I've had it. This is outrageous. I've had it. I have had it. This is outrageous. This didn't happen overnight. This wasn't done 4 years ago. Pierce has been dead 9 years. He then declared at the January 11th hearing that it's just not the way I'm going to spend my life. A week later, on January 18th, Judge Wood officially recused himself from the case. When asked about the hearing, Russell Post, a partner at Beck Redham, who represented Elaine Marshall on appeal, stated simply, Elaine Marshall is grateful for the Court of Appeals decision vacating. But boy, can you imagine if you were the next judge that got that case? Craziness, isn't it? People just fighting over money. It reminds me of that scene at the very end of Fargo. I love that movie so much. Frances McDormand. She plays that police officer, and that guy killed his wife to put a hit out on his wife just so he could get the money, because he needed the money to, I can't, pay off something, I can't remember, but anyway, or something like that. And she looks at him in the rearview mirrors. He's like sitting there like sobbing because they find like the killer of his wife. And she said something like, all of this for money. So sad. But I think we all become consumed with this disgusting need for, to fight for 20 years over money like that. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? Maybe if it was $20 billion, I'd be fighting over it too, but maybe not. I'd probably be like, can you give me $100 grand and then we can call it a day. I actually bought a lottery ticket last night because the Powerball was so high. I didn't even check the ticket. I'm sure I didn't win. I don't ever win like $20 on the Powerball, let alone like the Powerball itself. Can you imagine though? I really don't even like I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, if you won the Powerball, what would you do? Like, in all honesty, like if I won like that much money, or I came into like that kind of money, honestly, what I would do is I wouldn't change my life a whole lot. I love my life, you know? And I make my own schedule. I do what I want to do. Why would I change that? I wouldn't stop doing YouTube. I love making YouTube videos. I love it, you know? So I wouldn't stop that. But I think what I would do is I would hire a contractor to come in and make our condo exactly how we want it to be. Like from flooring to the walls to the bathroom, to just knock out walls, redo stuff, everything. I would have the whole condo redone exactly how we want it to be. New kitchen, everything. And then just decorated with like, you know, some amazing L-shaped couch, you know, or something like that. But I don't really want fancy stuff. I want comfortable stuff, you know. We wouldn't even get a new bed. Our bed is so comfortable. But then I would buy a place in Florida. I feel like I just talked about this the other night too. But I would buy a place in Florida. You know, like a condo. Alex really wants, like, you know, a high-rise condo, so we can do that. And then that's it. I would just travel. You know, like I definitely would give like money away, set up, you know, college funds for Carlitos and Sebastian, and you know, I would help out some people. I don't know how I wouldn't, like, I would feel like I really wanted to use YouTube as a platform to like give away a lot, or, you know, help people out. I mean, especially if it was a huge sum of money, like, you know, $100 million. I would love to do something like show up at people's, you know, house and help them with, I think that would be so cool, you know? But I don't know. Other than that, like, I mean, I kind of get it when I've gotten older. Like, I've known quite a few people that have won large, like, lottery sums. Well, not them, but, like, they'll have family members. Like, I have this friend of mine, like, her sister, I can't remember how much her sister won, but it was, like, a lot. It was, like, $50 million or something. And, like, she didn't really change her life a whole lot. Like, she gave, like, each of her, she had, like, 5 siblings. She gave, like, each of her siblings, like, $1 million, took them on vacations, bought them houses, stuff like that. Maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was $100 million she won. Bought her parents a new house, you know, all this kind of stuff. But then other than that, they still live in, like, the same small town. She and her husband and their kids, they still live in, like, the same small town they always lived in. And she just has, like, a really nice house and a really nice car. But, like, other than that, it's like they travel. They take, like, the family on, like, a huge trip every year, like a really nice cruise or something. But, like, other than that, like, her life is no different. Like, she goes to the grocery store, she comes home. It's like they have, like, some huge house, like, out in the country. You know, it's, like, no different than what it was really before, except for that she just quit her job. I think she worked for, like, a factory or something before. I've known a couple people like that, it seems like, and they don't really, like, other than, like, quitting their jobs, which they typically do, like, their life doesn't really change. They just kind of stay in the same, you know, house and whatever. I have this book in the basement. I've been meaning to read this forever, but it's like this book of, like, stories of, like, I can't believe I've been vlogging for an hour. It's these, like, book of, like, stories of people's, like, I think it's not just lottery, though. It's, like, good fortune that occurred to them in their lives, like, really good things that happened to them. I have to, like, pull it out and see what that book is called. Let me start reading that. Valerie and I were playing these games last night, and they were by these games. They had these new games at the casino. Well, Anderson, where I go, they just got table games, like actual, like, dealer table games, like Las Vegas. And so there were a lot of people there and playing table games. Well, not like tons, because the tables were kind of empty. And in fact, this girl that works there that I'm friends with, I was talking to her, and she was like, yeah, they're having to send, like, dealers home and stuff because there's just not that many people here. But to us, because, you know, when we're there late at night, it seems like it's typically usually dead. There were tons of people there because there were, you know, people playing the table games. But I guess, like, for what they thought they were going to get or something. I don't know. It would be like 1 or 2 people at a table, and they thought that they would be full. But I mean, also it was, what, a Tuesday night? But there was this machine, they put these new slot machines in, these Munchkin Land from Little House on the Prairie, Munchkin Land machines, and it's like every time there's like 4 of them, there's like 2 on one side and 2 on the other, there's these huge machines, right, and they're really loud, and so every time you get a bonus, it's like, ding dong, the witch is dead, witch, ding dong, the witch is dead, and it goes on and on and on. I've had that song stuck in my head all day long. Back in the back, they have these Britney Spears machines, and every time you get a bonus, it's like, crazy, and like I would get that song stuck in my head forever too. So I had this dream tonight. Do you want to hear about this dream? It's so weird. I don't know what this dream means. It was weird because, like, at the beginning of it, I don't really know who I was in the dream. I mean, I was somebody because I was standing there with all of them, but I don't know who I was, right? So, all I remember is the tail end of the dream. You know, they say, like, you know when you're, like, waking up from a dream? Like, what you remember about the dream, like, let's say if it seems to you like it was, like, hours long that you were dreaming that dream, that's literally, like, the last second that you were dreaming. Isn't that so weird to think about that? That you had millions and millions and millions and millions of dreams, but that last second, that seems like it was, like, hours in your head of a dream. Like, that's all was just, like, 1 second or 2. Isn't that so weird? So I have this dream that I was, like, I worked for this woman. I don't know what I did for her, but I worked for her. I was like her personal assistant, or I was like her best friend, or I was something like that. So she had like this guy that she was like she had, okay, this guy that she was like in love with, that she had a daughter with, like from a previous, like they had a baby like 20 years or 15 years ago. The girl was like 15 in my dream, and she was like real stoic and kind of cold, this girl. And then so that relationship, like she was wanting to, like, this woman was like trying to rekindle that relationship or something. This is probably all of my relationships in my life or something. But then she had this new guy that she had married, and she had actually married him for his money, okay? And, so, like, and he was worth a fortune or something. And, like, I can remember I was, like, standing there next to her. And this is what's really weird, is the house. Okay, look, I stopped it and started it because it was at the end, and then I like kept on turning it around. Okay, the really weird thing about this house in my dream was that the house is, I've actually had a dream about this house before, and like this specific house, and the house is a combination of like several different houses. The front of it is, in the back is, like, if you looked at it from the outside, is actually a friend of ours house that lives on the lake. And so when I was standing, well, this, I don't even know how to explain it. Anyway, when I was standing outside at the, kind of like towards the end of the dream, was like in their driveway. And they have this huge like walkway that goes up into their house. They have like a very modern house. But then the house is actually a combination of like my dad's house, and like these friends of ours that like built this, like they found this like 100-year-old estate in like Oak Park or Oak Brook, Illinois, Hinsdale, somewhere up there, I can't remember, when I was a kid, and they like redid this whole estate, and we would go up there and visit them a lot. It's a mix between like my dad's house and that house. And then like where the garage to my dad's, where the door to my dad's garage is, if you open at my dad's house, that door, it just like, it steps down into his garage. But like in the dream, it steps up into this like hidden like attic, like staircase. It takes you up to this other attic. It's not really an attic though. It's like this floor that has tons and tons of furniture, almost like a furniture store. just like tons and tons and tons and tons of furniture, right? And so it's so strange because like, and I'm in the dream, I'm always very, very afraid of that area. Now, in this dream tonight, there was also a basement, and I don't remember there ever having been a basement in this dream before, right? But what was weird was that my office, when I worked in treatment, was in this basement. And I'll explain about this basement in just a second. So, and I already know about what attics and basements and all of that represent about, you know, dreams and all that. Okay. So we're in the driveway, and this woman is, like, very well put together. Not, I would say older, but not old. You know, really, like, dressed very nice, like, kind of, like, stylish pantsuit. And she got this gun, and... like, she's like, I guess I have to choose between these two guys, because whatever, do I go for, like, love or money or whatever? And they're both, like, begging her. And she, like, says something to her daughter, and her daughter's just, like, completely, like, flat-faced. And she ends up killing both of the guys, right? She's like, I don't need either one of you, or something like that. And she kills them both. And I'm just, like, kind of standing there, and so she's like, we have to clean all this up. And she's got these, like henchmen that, like, have to clean up all this stuff for her, you know, like, is that the word? I think that's what you call them, like, you know, that, anyway. She has these guys that, like, work for her, and they, like, clean up, you know, all of the, what do you call it? Anyway, they clean up all of the, I can't honestly think about the word I'm looking for. They just clean up the bodies and the mess and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, then her daughter, I look to her daughter, like, her daughter's gonna be really upset, and her daughter's just like, whatever. Like, no emotion whatsoever, completely flat, right? So she just, like, steps over these bodies, all of them, and they're like, she just goes inside, like, we are just gonna go on with our life. And so then this, like, huge police investigation happens. I think this might be, like, when Sarah was over and she was looking through... Oh, I forgot to tell this part of what happened tonight. This was so funny. So when Sarah came over tonight, I was, like, shopping on Audible because, just in case you're on Audible and you don't already know this, all of their daily deals from the last year are on sale for $5.95. So I was going through their entire list of daily... It's a great sale. I was going through their entire list. I bought 5 books. And then I actually went back in and I bought 1 with a credit. Or did I buy 2 with a credit? I think I may have bought 2 with a credit. I'll pull in here and tell you what I bought in just a second. But, because there's a couple books on there that I want to read really bad. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll tell about it some other time. So then in my dream, there was, like, the upstairs of the house, which, like, a lot of it was, like, my dad's house, where, like, they were just, like, walking around and living their life. And then in the basement, there was, like, and the basement just went on forever and ever and ever and ever. Like, they had these rooms set up, but the rooms, like, legit looked like police investigation rooms. And they were, like, these police were sitting at this, like, huge conference table, and, like, they were trying to solve this case. And I, like, had to go into my office. Oh, I had to go into, like, some room, and I had to get something. Like, she told me I had to get something from, like, this, like, they had, like, the dead bodies down there, and I had to, like, take something from this body. And so, like, I snuck in there, but then, like, I snuck into my office. So, like, if they came and they asked me, like, what I was trying to, like, I was like, oh, I was just in my office, and I was getting, like, computer paper that was blank, and I was going to say that okay, this is so weird, because this goes back to me being a kid, because one time, I just wanted, like, 20 bucks for something. I can't even remember. I was, like, 14 or something. I don't remember. But I asked my mom if I could have 20 bucks, and she goes, for what? And I said, for computer paper, because I want to write Dad a poem for Father's Day. And, I mean, it was just totally, like, that was back when I was using and stuff. I just wanted the $20, I think. So anyway, she gave it to me, but, like, forever she would always ask me, like, she'd be like, how's that poem going? I mean, she just was so rude about it, like, for her whole life. I'd be like 40, you know, and, well, she was gone by the time I was 40, but I'd be like 30, and she'd be like, how's that poem that you wrote for your dad? You know, like, just always, never let it go. So, like, when I was, I don't know, like, when I was in this police station basement office, I was like, I'm going to put all this paper together, and then if they ask me for what it's for, I'm going to say it's for a poem for my dad. Anyway, I don't know what that was from. I think I just told that story to somebody the other day. That must be where it comes from. I think that I did just tell that story to somebody the other day. I think that dreams are a combination of, like, things that are going on in our, of course, there's this huge traffic line, and I really don't need to be in this traffic, and I'm not going to be able to get over because people aren't nice. Call me crazy. Y'all are going to work. I'm just trying to get in the other lane. I have nowhere to go. Thank you, Mr. Kind Man. That sounded like something my mom would say. But anyway. So yeah. I think this week I'll write my dad a poem and send it to him. I mean, I've written my dad lots of poems in his life. My dad likes poems. So I would write him poems when I was a kid. I'd give them to him for gifts. You know how I've always said, like, my mom's like, she'd always say, oh, I like homemade gifts the best. And then, like, I'd make her, like, something, or I'd write her a poem. And then she'd be like, kind of like looking around. It was like, that the only thing that you got me? You know, like, she loved homemade gifts, but she also liked store-bought gifts, too. Don't get me wrong. Don't get her wrong. But anyway, she really did like homemade gifts. But my dad truly loves homemade gifts. Like, he could care less about something store-bought. He just really could care less. He really, 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 really loves when you, like, take time and energy to, you know, like, go out of your way to make him something. And he's really good at it. My dad, his whole life, like, my dad's so artistic. He would, like, you know, like, make books for people and, like, calendars. Like, this was long before you had these apps, you know, or you could do it on the computer. My dad would do this stuff for, you know, he would do it for people. And, like, you know, people in our family and my stepmom and myself a lot. My dad's, like, he made books for my mom back in the day. They would have these dinner parties when they lived in Chicago, and he would make these, like, wood cutting menus and just really cool stuff. My mom and him actually wrote poems back and forth to each other when they were, like, first dating and stuff like that. I think I read one on here way back in the day that I found. It was this little book that my mom wrote. I'll have to find some of those and read them, but they're really cool. My dad did wood cuttings. I don't know if you know what wood cuttings are, but they're, like, actually where you cut wood out and then you take it and you, like, dip it in ink and you imprint it onto a piece of paper and it's like a painting. He actually did a lot of those. Like, I have a couple at the house, and I have, like, a really extravagant one that he did. And then of this, like, this author. And why can't I think of who that guy is now? But anyway. I think because my dad is so, like, left brain, people always assume, like, well, if I got any creativity, I probably got it from my mom. But, like, my mom really, honestly, like, she loved to write and stuff like that. But my dad's, like, 10 times more, I mean, no offense to my mom, but, like, my dad is 10 times more creative than my mom ever was. I mean, my dad is super, super creative. He's always inventing little things, and he's, like, the cook, and he loves to, like, paint and sculpt and all, and he always has. And, so if I have any creativity, it's probably from my dad. I'm actually probably a lot more like my dad than I am like my mom. Where was I? I was with Caroline at Christmas, and she was like, my God, you look so much like your dad. It's so crazy. But then I have my mom's eyes, and so I think, like, that's, like, I have my mom's eyes and my mom's mouth. And so I think, like, but the rest of it, especially the white hair, because my dad's hair turned white really early, too, and he had a beard just like me. And so, like, physically, if you just, like, catch a glimpse of us, we look very similar. He's tall. My dad's a lot taller than me, though. My dad's kind of, like, my dad's super tall, and he's very built. and I'm not. I'm pudgy. Anyway, well, I wasn't going to vlog for very long, and I think I've vlogged longer now than I thought I was going to, so I'm going to get off here now, and I'm going to head on home. I might run through somewhere and grab something for breakfast real quick. Oh, somebody said that Hardee's, maybe I should go through there, and then if they have it, I can do a review. That Hardee's, I'm going to turn around and go look. Hardee's has a meat-free breakfast sandwich. Is that true? I don't know. I'm gonna go look. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. I hope you guys, I'm gonna turn around though. I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday. Oh, it's Thursday. An amazing Thursday unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something today that will make you happy. Do something today that you will be proud of when you look back on it 5 or 10 years down the road. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you do your positive affirmations, or you just say them out loud. I love you. You are valuable. You are important. You matter. Today is going to be a great day, and 2020 is your year. And most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how important they are to you, how much they mean to you, and how much they matter to you. Make somebody else's day. And, oh, I forgot to talk about the game. I'll talk about the game really quick and then I'll say goodbye. So Alex and I, and Sarah, when I was audible shopping and we were going through the Christmas stuff. So see, if you go through the exit, the outro, you missed this part of the video. Sorry about you. But anyway, Alex ordered these 2 games off of Amazon. One of them was like a drinking card game or something, like for him and his friends, because they're getting together to do this thing. But anyway, the other one was like this game, and we were playing, and it was like, it was called Here or something, and you would, on one side, you would like write, like on one side was written, there were different categories, like pop culture, kinky was one of the categories, party stuff, whatever, party, I don't know, favors or something, but anyway, so you would hear it, like they would say the word, there'd be like 4 words, and you were supposed to read them real fast. Well, the words wouldn't be like separately, they wouldn't be what they were, but if you read them fast together, they sounded like what the word was on the other side. So like party favors, one of those was like Jewel Pod, you know, like the Jewel, like the vapor thing. But like if you read it on the other side, it was like, anyway, it would just like be like 4 words or 3 words that sounded, if you read them really fast, like that. So like it was called Here or something. It was so fun. We had such a great time. We sat there and played it. So anyway, that was that. I just had to tell that story. And then I went and got a fountain pop with my good Judy Tanya, because I had been up in the house all day long and I wanted to get out of the house. So and we drove around and solved the world's problems, and that was my night. So anyway, all right, I've said all my other goodbyes, so I will get off here now. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Bye.